hoping that we can get some transparency and understand what that process looks like. In the event that we feel like we are treated unfairly, we will have to look at all of our legal recourses in order to block this process. This time around, we are not going to stand back and watch our team leave. And it's just to be very clear, St. Louis just lost their team, San Diego just lost their team. The Raider fans do not plan on burning jerseys in front of the entrance of the Coliseum and wiping each other's tears. We plan on fighting for our team, the same way that any storied franchise or any storied group of fans would do. And that's what we are. And so we're very hopeful that the NFL will see this and understand what our objectives are. I've been in communication with Eric Grubman regularly. He knows what our plan of action is. He committed to put our plan of action on the desks of the stadium committee, which he told me he did. And we can go from there. The last thing we ever want to do is to have a fight with the Raiders or with the Davis family. They're like our family. So it would be the equivalent of a custody battle and a bad divorce. But it's going to happen if anybody tries to take our team from us this time. So we just want to make sure that we have no interest in conflict. We just want due process. We just want transparency. We just want to make sure that what is occurring in the process is valid. We want to make sure that the NFL is in position to be able to make an objective decision and to revisit this community's failure the last time relocation, and the NFL needed to support us during relocation. That's all. That's our position.
Okay, so this is interesting because you made the divorce analogy. Now, if this were a relationship, okay, if this were a marriage, like you're saying, and you were dealing with a spouse who left you once, made big demands, come back, not fulfilled by those demands, and wanted to leave again, would you really be fighting for that spouse?
See, here's the point. It's really important to know. I said a custody battle in a bad divorce. The Raiders is ours. So we're not fighting over whether or not we're going to be departed from each other in a relationship. We're talking about the children. We're talking about the product. We're talking about the Raiders. So our position is the Raiders is ours. It's our team. We have as much right to the team as anybody. So,
over here, if I may, Mark Davis, to season ticket holders last year, said to Godfather Grizz specifically that he was fine with breaking up the fan base. Your thoughts?
Fine with breaking up the
Yes, sir. That's a quote.
Okay. Well, from our position, we feel that the Raider Nation is in Oakland. There is no, when the Raiders relocated to Los Angeles, we didn't fly to go watch the Raiders in Los Angeles. We didn't. We just stopped watching football. We didn't become 49er fans because no decent Raider fan is going to become a 49er fan. So we just stopped watching football. And what happened is LA fizzled. So from our perspective, LA now has two teams. So to try and depend on an LA market just doesn't seem like a viable option at all. If you just want to watch football, and sometimes you have to move into the future. Just because there were Raider fans before, and just because we fly to San Diego to purposely show up at the Chargers, don't be confused about how many Raider fans are in Southern California. I mean, and if I'm a football fan in Southern California, and I'm raising my children, and we're going to games, and our position is we're going to drive down the road and get a hot dog and sit there and enjoy football, I'm going to become a new fan of the Chargers or the Rams.
Your follow-up. You said that you put a plan to Eric Grubman, who's NFL's stadium point person. Can you discuss that plan, and did you share that plan with either Ronnie Lott or any members of Fortress?
We have not communicated with any city officials. We have not communicated with any team officials. We have not communicated with Ronnie Lott's group. The difference with our group is that We live between Fruitville and 106th Avenue. We are the community that lives directly in surrounding the Coliseum. So we have sat back and we just kind of watched and hoped and prayed, because we are a God-fearing people. We prayed that there would be a breakthrough between city officials and team officials. So we've just sat back and we've just watched. But now you get to a point where you see everything start to aligning, like Ronnie Lott, like the A's change of leadership, like secured funding, a mayor that's been a season ticket holder and her family's a season ticket holder, a coach that's local. You start seeing the alignment, you start going, man, I think we might have a shot here. This is different from what it was before. But then the day after that plan gets approved, you have NFL officials immediately coming out discrediting the plan. So as a football plan, you start thinking those are bad flags, the fix is in. There is no process.
So, this is all impressive, and your passion's impressive. We understand your passion. But you're taking on an NFL owner, and you're taking on a league. What clout do you really have?
Let me say this. Every civil movement in this country to date has started in Oakland, California. I'll give you a history about Oakland, California and who we are, and especially in East Oakland. Everything from the Black Panther Party taking on the entire U.S. government to Colin Kaepernick going to Castlemont High School for validation before he kneeled down. We are the pioneers. The first shooting of an African American by a police officer is now a motion picture called Fruitville Station. Oscar Grant. We start every movement civilly in this entire country. At the end of the day, if the NFL doesn't want to allow transparency and doesn't want to allow for our community to have an opportunity to have due process, the one thing that we know how to do very well is we know how to fight.
Hey, well, over
if you
here.
grew up in East Oakland, you learn how to fight. So we're not concerned about that. We're not concerned about, we understand what our cloud is us. And so it's not something that we're concerned about. We've just started organizing. And once we start putting all the pieces together, our faith organizations, our business community, we get on a momentum and we get on a roll that I don't think the NFL wants to see. And so it's just so you know, we've hashtagged Stand With Oakland. If we feel like the process isn't fair, it could be San Diego stands with Oakland, St. Louis stands with Oakland, the NFL Players Association stands with Oakland, New York stands with Oakland, Chicago stands with Oakland. We're ready. I mean, we're really ready to take this to a point, because at the end of the day, what's at risk is our families. It's our communities, it's our jobs. I mean, it's our anchor. So that's a good question, but I hope I gave you a good answer.
Hey, have you reached out to Save Oakland Sports, and are you aware they're planning their own lawsuit?
Well, we've definitely entertained and have gotten advice that we will follow up on, that will clearly spell out what type of legal options we have available. Whether it be a class action lawsuit, whether it be a antitrust class action
But did you reach
lawsuit.
out to Save Oakland Sports?
Save Oakland Sports, we've talked to them.
Okay.
And they're going to be facilitating our database.
Okay.
So what we're going to do is we're going to organize, and we're going to have Save Oakland Sports manage all the Raider fans and all the people who are interested in this movement, so that they can share communication, so that once we do mobilize and we start to decide what we're going to do, we'll move forward. Clearly, we don't know which legal recourse it's going to be, whether it be a class action or whether it be multiple individual lawsuits. We're not sure yet. But at the end of the day, we don't want to go there. We have no interest in going there. We don't want to go there. All we want to do right now is we just want to make sure that the Ronnie Lott plan just gets looked at fairly, and that there's a process. And you have to understand that we've been here before as a community. We've lost our team before. So, and we look to the NFL to give us process, to give us a administration and a process in which we could, claim our case, and they supported us. The NFL supported Oakland. The NFL denied and declined the relocation. So we're hoping that the NFL will do that again, that they will embrace us. That they will say, okay, this is clearly a franchise and a group of fans that have supported this franchise. Why would we allow it to relocate?
I got a question. What are your thoughts with Mark Davis requiring season ticket holders to purchase renew their season tickets before the relocation vote?
I think that you could look at it one of two ways. You could look at it as, are you really going to have us pay higher prices in this and then leave us? Or you can look at it like, we haven't made a final decision yet. We still want to move forward. There's still some opportunity here. No doors have been closed. Because at the end of the day, he has a business to run. He has a team to run. And so we're not focusing on Mark Davis. Because at the end of the day, he's got to make whatever decision